In the last 3 months, I have only watched one show. Recently, I was learning about gladiators and I came across this interesting show called Spartacus. If in case you don't know who gladiators are, they were basically professional fighters who were trained to fight in the Roman arena to entertain the crowd with violence and death. Present day MMA fighters and gladiators have a lot in common because they have the same objective, which is to fight. But if there's anything that separates them, then it's that gladiators were allowed to kill and fight with many weapons, whereas MMA fighters are only allowed to fight with certain rules. Now that you know who gladiators are, let's move on to the topic of this video. I came across this really interesting quote in Spartacus as I was watching the show, which said that accept your fate or be destroyed by it. This quote was like in my freaking head after I watched it, bro. I couldn't stop thinking about it. This quote got me thinking about like destiny, fate, luck, and all sorts of other things like free will. But I haven't personally gotten to a point where I can confidently say that I believe in fate or that fate exists. But whether fate exists or not is your own personal decision to make. I would like to replace fate with tragedy. If you accept the tragedy that happened in your life, you won't be destroyed by it. But if you focus and concentrate on the tragedy that happened in your life, you will be destroyed by it. Most of my audience is between 18 to 24 years old. I'm almost 20 years old myself. And when I think about the problems that people my age or the people between 18 to 24 years old face, like the tragedies or like the problem that people in this age really face, are usually things like breakups, financial problems, insecurities, or mostly just failures in a lot of things. If you take any of the things mentioned and focus and concentrate on them every 5 minutes, you will be destroyed by them. You will literally take your brain, your conscious, your will, and your power down the drain yourself. Accepting reality is one thing, and accepting reality and further improving yourself to avoid issues of life coming in the future is another. I want you to think about what you will be getting by not accepting your tragedy. Overthinking, high levels of stress which will cause your testosterone levels to drop, by the way. Insecurities, low self-esteem. I could go a whole day about the disadvantages of not accepting the tragedy and or the fate that your life has. Now I want you to think about the advantages of accepting your tragedy. Focus, confidence, high level of awareness and improvement, possibilities of a better future as you learn from the tragedy, accept it and cherish it. Further, it is so much more better to accept the tragedy and embrace it than to be thinking about the things that happen in your life just to upset yourself more and dig you deeper into the hole that your tragedy brought upon you. Beating yourself up does nothing. It only makes you feel fucking stupid, bro. It is all about rising up once you've fallen down. Parts of rising up include getting over your trauma or your tragedy and using it as a fuel to further improve yourself for a better future. The sooner you realize the power of accepting your fate or tragedy, the earlier you will find yourself in ease and a much more better future. If you're not sure about how to accept your tragedy, then see the difference between the disadvantages in comparison to the advantages and use that as a fuel to convince your brain to accept it. Trust me, boys, once you master this art of accepting the way that things are, and not what you would like them to be, you will find yourself in much more ease, especially at a very young age. Subscribe and enjoy your day. Also, Happy New Year, boys.